In this video, I am going to share 4 of my kind of really essential go-to strategies for writing a really good blog post title. Now, the strategies that I'm going to present to you here and the one in the Copylogger guide that's in your resources really works for anything that's going to need a title. So this could be a press release, this could be a blog post title, this could be a feature article. Mostly news headlines are more straightforward, so you don't see that. But if you look, or you don't see these techniques necessarily being used on hard news stories, but if you look in newspaper feature sections, you will definitely see these strategies in play. Okay. One of the things that I think is the hardest to write for anybody who's new to long form content is nailing that title or headline. So, and we know that it's actually the most important piece of copy that you will write. You can have a fabulous blog post, right, or a fabulous feature article and a really great press release, but if you don't title it correctly, chances are it really just won't get read. That's why you want to use, okay, formulas. Copywriting formulas are really smart. Because what you realize is they're all driven towards somehow conveying a benefit for the reader. Okay, so they have to be concrete enough, but they have to be engaging enough, right? And they have to imply a benefit. So I'm going to share with you my 4 go-tos. There's certainly a ton more strategies, and there's ways to always combine these strategies. But let's get started. So the list headline, you already know that I'm such a huge fan of listicles. And the listicle / how-to articles were the most shared content on social media out of all content. So it was long form, and it was list and or how-to. So you'll often see list headlines combined with how-to, right? So 3 surprising ways to make the holidays less stressful is a how-to. 10 products that will help you become more sustainable at home is a how-to. Right? 7 reasons to binge watch Games of Thrones. That's not necessarily a how-to, but it is, it's still a listicle, and it's still a good strategy because if it was just, why you should watch, Game of Thrones this weekend, that's not as exciting as here are these specific reasons, right? We like lists because it helps us to understand, like, what's in it for me, like really specifically, what am I going to get out of this? So whenever you really can have a list headline, I say go for it. You don't always, sometimes you can have a listicle, you don't always have to have the number in the headline, but the research shows us that, that when you have that number in the headline, it is way more likely to get shared. So you can certainly think about that, and you can also use a list and combine it with other strategies. So number 2 is another favorite of mine. This is very good for blog post titling because blog posts tend to be more informal. You also see this on a lot of like websites, or magazine websites that are feature-y. So like raise your hand if you hate the new iPhone, the beige smoothie trend is just ooh, here it is, my grandmother's secret big ziti recipe. So it's really like you're just talking to somebody, like I'm going to share, this secret with you. So that's a good strategy, and you can do that. So a question headline, so we know from the research for all of social media content, right, for captioning and posts, that questions just naturally evoke more of engagement and more of a response, and that's because you're actually directly asking your reader to participate because you're asking them to answer yes or no, or to come in or don't. So this is a very good strategy as long as you're sure that nobody can say no, right? So are you missing a key nutrient in your diet? I'm probably going to read that, right? Do you want to lose weight fast? Of course, everybody wants to lose weight fast, so of course you're going to read that. So you want to just make sure you can't just say yes or no, or that it's just completely not likely that it's ever going to happen. So is college debt a thing of the past? No, of course not. That's ridiculous. So this is just not, that's more of like, to me, like almost like a clickbait headline because we know it's not true. So you can also craft a question that really entices the reader to really think about his or her own characteristics. These are really, really effective. So leaders versus managers, which one are you? Or you could do something like, what's your leadership style? Which blogging platform is right for you? You could also say, you know, are you using these 3 essential social media content practices? So so when you can craft a question, and if you can even get like a list in there, go for it. The teaser headline is a little bit of an art. There's that one, this is the cliche of the teaser, which is like, the stick of butter was left out. You won't believe what happens next. The won't believe what happens next is pretty cliche. So you might want to avoid that, obviously, but, there are just some ways to just be teasing, the shocking statistic about STDs. You probably already have one. Come on, that's a really good title. Here are the fees your bank is hiding from you, right? So it's kind of like things that you really are going to want to know this. So it's a teaser. So try crafting, use 2 strategies, play around for your next blog post. And then also punctuation and headlines can be really effective. You don't need actually just a period in your headline per se. Even if you're using a comma, you don't even necessarily need, you don't need the period at the end, but you could say, no, you shouldn't take your dogs to restaurants. But you could do something like, if you wanted to even make it more emphasis, no, you shouldn't take your dogs to restaurants ever. You could do short little sentences, trade war escalates, stocks market shrug, here's why. You can also use an M dash. This is the long dash that's created. You usually have to insert it through special characters, but it's kind of like that. He wanted his job back, dun-dun-dun, but not this way. It's kind of that dun-dun-dun. So it's a way to create that interest without and a little bit of zip and drama without really slowing the reader down. Same thing with a colon. That can be a really good way, like to kind of shorten and punch up a headline. So review these strategies and give them a try.